morning, everyone. I'm Eddie Brill, the host of OG Talk. OG standing for many things, but here it's for Organic Grill, the heart and soul of the East Village. My co-host, Vlad Grinberg, who's the heart and soul of the heart and soul here at OG Talk. And some of my dearest friends are here today, Tish and Snooky. I pointed them out so you would know who was sitting where, and who's wearing what. So we're here. We're very happy that they're here. You just flew in from Paris last night.
And boy, are our arms tired.
Waiting for that one.
Yeah. And so it's, you know, when you fly to Europe to do work and you're going to work, you come back and your brains must be scrambled and exhausted.
Yes.
That's what happens.
This might not be so good.
Yeah, but that's why we want you when scrambled brains.
Scrambled, yes.
So you're out
Put you in the
there.
right moment.
Yes, that's exactly right. You were out there doing work. What kind of work were you doing for your company?
Well, it's a whole huge hair show. It's really quite amazing. And our French distributor did a whole hair fashion show on the main stage. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, how many years have you been going to Paris to do it?
Whenever we can. I mean,
Right.
we've had this distributor, I think, for, 3 years?
Yeah.
But we actually did the show ourselves before that to try to find distribution.
Yeah, but back then, Paris wasn't ready. France
were
wasn't
not.
ready for us. They just looked at us like we were Martians or something. But now we're accepted, and they had this big booth, and we got
Oh, it's interesting. Even with your reputation for so many years, you still felt like you were ahead of the game?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, France is very different from here. It took a long time for them to accept this type of color.
Yeah,
A
they're
really
very
long time.
conservative.
In a way, in fashion and hair, they're very conservative.
Which is surprising.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's surprising.
No,
you
not
would
after
think.
you came.
Not
Yeah.
after us, no.
Yeah, it's surprising. What about the rest of Europe? Has it been slow on the take as well?
Well, some
Yeah,
countries,
kind of.
depends.
England was ready, but
yeah.
Italy took a while.
Oh, yeah, we were doing the trade show in Italy for about 20, some odd, more than 20 years.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to get established. And we had a business advisor who kept telling us, don't go out of the U.S., just do the U.S. There's enough business here. Don't leave, don't spread yourself too thin. I said, no, we want to be everywhere.
That's smart.
And it was the best thing we did.
Oh, really? Wow.
Really.
And
yeah.
what about, wasn't
And it looks
England?
like all your business, I'm sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
all of your businesses that you just staying in your course and not listening to other people, huh?
We don't
Yeah,
usually. I
we
think
don't.
we're control freaks.
Oh, we make people crazy when we, don't listen to their advice, but we always go with our hearts and our guts, and it's worked
Instinct.
for 42 years now.
When you listen to your instincts, that's usually the place to be, and a lot of people are afraid of that. They feel their instincts happen and they shut down from it, where you guys have always been ahead of the game.
Well, sometimes we've listened, but
Yeah, we get like unsure, and we don't listen to our instincts. We listen to other people, and it's never right.
about 90% of the
it's not
time,
right for us.
it's not what's right for us, because we have to do what's right for us and the company, which the company is kind of our baby.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting for me is there was a book that I read, and I read like twice a year, called The Four Agreements. And one of them is to really just part of it is not the agreements part, but the dreams that people have. And you have your dream, and other people have the dream for you, but you have to live your dream, and that's the most important thing. And that seems to work
Yeah.
for everybody in that sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, I was in college in Boston during the late 70s. And we were big fans of the Sex Pistols and Elvis Costello. It came across, but we couldn't find the clothing. We couldn't afford the clothing, but we couldn't find it. My two best friends in college, who you know so well, Chris Phillips and Adam Roth. So the three of us would go to the park in Boston, the Boston Common, and we'd sing and put a hat out. We'd get all this money, and then we'd drive to New York, to St. Mark's Place, to get our Beatle boots, our stripy shirts, our outfits, our gear for the music that we loved. And that's how we met you guys, because you started a store that your mom named called
Manic Panic.
Very good.
Your mom came up with a name? Whoa.
She was in the psychiatric field, so she said sometimes the patients go into a manic panic. And she said, I think that's a great name for your store, because we couldn't decide.
Yeah, it was the first punk store in America.
And there were 3 of us, so it was Snooky, Gina, our friend Gina, and me. And, you know, we're all coming up with different ideas. And so my mother settled it. We all,
And you,
the minute
you
we
loved
heard
it
it, we
from the
said,
beginning?
Yeah.
yes,
we did.
that's
Wow.
it. That's the
Perfect
name.
A little
Right.
too perfect sometimes.
It is perfect. And at the beginning of Saturday Night Live, they would cut to different parts of the city, Pete's Tavern, the Old Town Bar, and Manic Panic was.
I know.
Was one of the
It was
names
so
there.
Cool.
What year did you start the place?
77.
Right. Sunset Strip. Perfect. The timing is just, you never lose the timing. Once you have it, it's always there. So that was kind of when Sex Pistols came out. Before 77, life was different around here. It was more the glam, rock and roll scene. When did you were here?
Yeah.
You were here. You graduated
There
high
was a
school.
scene.
You went to NYU, right? And you were in the neighborhood. And you went. Where'd you go?
I went to this school
Fashion?
called Mayer School of Fashion Design,
Right.
but I only went for a short time because it was interfering with my nightlife.
Right.
So I had to,
That's the best.
I
That's
had
the best
to give
thing I ever heard.
something up. So I decided
Study.
it should probably be school. I learned what I needed. I learned how to construct clothing. I learned how to, draw out my designs and things. And
So when did this neighborhood switch from that sort? We, went from hippies, Fillmore East and the Who and the Allman Brothers playing here, to glam rock, which was, a lot of fashion. And then when did it become punk? And you guys were here when that happened. What was it like? Did you feel the change?
I don't think it really ever got that glam down here. There were other
the
neighborhoods.
Dolls lived down here.
The Dolls lived on St.
St.
Mark's,
Mark's.
but as far as clothing goes, it was more, you could come down and get vintage stuff, but not really. The glam stuff was at Granny Takes a Trip. And,
Where was that?
It was uptown somewhere.
I can't remember, in Ian's, and that was
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
on
Ian's.
Grove Street. But as far as glam went, when we moved in '77, it was just a dirty ex-hippie block.
Yeah,
it was
which
such
is
a-
fine.
Not
It
that
was-
there's anything wrong
Nothing
with that.
wrong with that.
But there were all these empty storefronts, nobody wanted to be down here. So the rent was really cheap. It was $250 a month, and we barely could scrape that together.
It's like, do I buy a wig or do I pay for the rent? When me, Hoy Boy Harrison, and Dick Warren, Adam Roth's close friends, moved down here, we got an apartment for $225 a month, and it was $75 each, and we couldn't afford that. It was like, do we get weed or do we do we pay the rent or
I have
do
a
we pay the
feeling I
rent
know
with
what you
weed?
got.
Yeah. So all right. So it's 1977. You've done fashion. You went to NYU and Tish. Did you go to Tish or? I don't really remember at NYU. Where were you?
Oh, I was an English major,
Ah.
and I was finishing NYU when we were in Blondie. So I'd be, like going from the parties and the after-hours clubs to class in the morning, and I had taken this crafts class to finish my degree, and I decided one of the crafts was weaving, and I had this loom that I was weaving a rug. Everybody else was making pot holders and stuff. I decided I'm going to weave a rug. So I had to drag this loom with me everywhere to gigs. I'd be backstage between sets weaving my rug, but I finished and got my degree.
So you're starting to think about fashion, but before that, you just mentioned that you were singing with Blondie. She and Chris came by and you happened to be performing. What group were you in before you were with Blondie? Where were you singing?
Well, we had a band that we used to play at NYU sometimes with, and but that wasn't what they saw. They saw us in the Palm Casino Review. We were in this show at the Bowery Lane Theater,
Across from CBGB.
and it was this
Right.
amazing show that nobody knows about, and it was full of drag queens. Some of the Coquettes were in it, and all sorts of New York underground people.
It was sort of like a vaudeville show,
It
like
was
one
totally
wacky act after
vaudeville.
another.
Yeah, I
That
got.
Vaudeville
show,
days.
yeah.
I was involved in that scene too, because we were an improv group in college, and we're starting to try stand up. And there was this vaudeville scene down in the East Village. 4th Street. There was a club, and Rocket's Red Glare would perform there, and we would all do these shows and play characters. It was really fun, and that our paths kept crossing. Music and comedy, and it was just all the same animal. And then all of a sudden, part of all of that is always fashion. Fashion is always on the forefront. I'm just trying to, well, how was it? Let's talk about Blondie first. It's incredible music. Again, we're in Boston, we're hearing Blondie, we're dancing to it in the clubs. We're dancing to you guys singing, and we don't know you yet.
Well, we didn't record with them.
Oh, okay.
We were in the early Blondie before they got a record deal. And
Fred from television was in the band.
Ah,
yeah.
one of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
CBGB's
yeah.
Oh my
Television.
God,
It was a really good scene. CBGB's, which is now a John Barbados store, very expensive leather, which goes well in a vegan restaurant. It's very different to walk by. It's kind of sad, almost in a weird way. But
Oh, I know.
you walk down St. Mark's, Trash and Vaudeville's gone.
I know.
The sock man has moved.
I know. I got off the train today at Astor Place, and it smelled the same as it always did when I used to come up from the subway to get to work, and but nothing looks the same.
Right. Well, change is inevitable. It's going to happen. If it stayed hippies, we might not have had Manic Panic. So there's always going to be a change in there. So I'm just trying to find out, when you were creating Manic Panic, there was something missing from the neighborhood. There was that kind of clothing was missing. I needed that clothing.
Yeah.
We needed that clothing. So how did you decide that's what you were going to do clothing-wise?
Well, everybody just liked the way we dressed when we'd be out on the town or on stage, and they'd always be asking where they could get clothes like we were wearing. And so
And where did you get this clothing?
we got them in like junk stores, thrift shops.
And we would
And
make
you custom
we
it,
made
yeah?
stuff
Wow.
ourselves. So and kind of refurbished old stuff and made old stuff
like
look
upcycled,
cool.
huh?
And yeah, the same thing people are doing now to a lot of vintage stuff. We would kind of reinvent it and glamorize it.
So interesting.
Yes, and but it's interesting to me because of how the neighborhood became, and all of a sudden, his clothing and the bands go together, and then I got to sing at CBGB's because I got to join on a couple of different nights with the country western night and the different things with the band called the Sick Fucks. I
right.
brought in Russell. Russell came in and met Vlad
that's-
and stayed here because we're all older but healthy eaters, and we're very healthy eaters. And one of the things, and I know we've talked before because we both have Hippocrates in common. Switching a little bit. I mean, the whole thing is about mental health and physical health, which is important. In order to business doesn't happen because you're sitting around, and sometimes you'll have an idea, but there's a method to madness. And part of all of this is the spirituality that goes in the clothing, and your instincts come from a spiritual place. I know that you are a raw food eater and you become a vegan. I don't know, Tish, are you a raw food? Did you ever do
Well,
that kind
I
of thing?
don't do it all the time. I wish I could, but we're in Long Island City. There aren't too many choices where we work, so we try to eat as healthy as we can, and I haven't touched meat in 30 some odd years.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then we both found out later at a concert, we ran into each other and started talking about it, about going to Hippocrates because it's just a place for health. Mm-hmm. And so what made you go there? Was there a thing, a stuff, a hay? I went there for a hay.
Yeah.
Oh, we got food, guys.
Yeah, speaking of food.
Right.
All right.
That's great.
I'll let Vlad explain what it is,
All
but
right.
first,
So we
before,
have-
I just want to know about Hippocrates.
Oh, okay. So I had breast cancer 10 years ago. And after I went through all the treatment, the surgery and radiation and chemo, I just wanted to get it all out of me, all that
Poison.
the poisons that they
Right.
poisoned me with to heal me. And so I heard about Hippocrates, so I went there all by myself, which is weird.
Bold.
Yeah.
Because
That guy,
yeah.
that has to get
Um,
some guts.
But it was good. It was really good, and I never felt better or looked better than when I left there. I felt like I was cleansed of all
Right,
that.
and-
War.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And you learn about, you put good things in, good things happen, which is a perfect segue for Vlad to tell us about the good things we brought out here.
Before I do this, first of all, I congratulate you because I know from family history how
mother.
we went through the same thing, and I know how much courage you had to do it by yourself. Congratulations.
This restaurant is here because he took his mom to the Berkshires because
Yeah, to
she wanted all,
Microbiotic Institute. Yeah.
and
And she was very sick at the time in a critical stage, and she became vegan, and she invited us, not invited, she kind of changed our life. We all became vegan. That's
Oh,
incredible.
that's so
story.
great.
and then he decided he wanted to continue that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah,
for his-
when she passed, we decided to open a restaurant to commemorate this in our family.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of deliciousness and
speaking
great
about
food and
the
being
food,
healthy, and
so we have zucchini pasta. So there is no flour, it's just basically zucchini noodles. I want you to try it, guys.
yay! I'll bring this over here. One of the hardest things
All
to
right.
do is to talk and
But
and
we
eat
manage.
and
As you
yeah.
can see, we are
There's no
not
laughing and
suffering from
having
appetite. so-
zucchini out of your nose. One time I did a show on a ship, and the guy, I told the people, I said, "Look, I'll perform, but no, not during dinner." And he made the mistake of doing it during dinner, and you just hear clang, 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 forks and knives, laughing, talking. And I'm so anyway, and I'm going, how about if I come back after? And they're like, yay! So, but we want you guys to try this amazing food.
Oh, yeah.
And then
All right.
the famous
yeah, I'll
burgers
tell
he has
everybody.
there.
Yeah, and this one is squash soup, creamy squash. Whoever wants soup, this is our famous tofu rancheros, and this burger. Actually, it was very interesting. We had Rich Roll yesterday coming here, and we made his burger.
And what's in it?
And it's a new burger we have. It's lentil burger with tzatziki sauce, and everybody approved it, and we have official Rich Roll burger now.
Yeah, it's
So
Rich
that's
Roll, a very healthy.
But
person.
guys, I'm really curious, like, where this idea of vegan came from? Because your business is like wired to this, and it's sustainable. When I was reading about it, like, I know when we started, and I thought it was long ago, and we started 20 years ago. You started so much before that.
39
Like,
years.
how was it in your mind? Like, why did you even focus on this idea? Besides the point that you did something innovative with hair and stuff, and you were before times, right?
Yeah.
But vegan and sustainable, and
Yeah.
it's just incredible.
We always loved animals. We always rescued animals. We always had different stray cats in the store. Do you remember our
I do,
different
of
cats?
course.
Thumper.
Of course. You'd go there to. It was like a clubhouse, you'd
was.
go over to
It was.
to Manic Panic, like this
That's what
restaurant.
John told
Yeah.
me. That's what John told me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a clubhouse. You go there and you just hang out, see your friends. You walk by you wouldn't walk by the store without coming to say hello.
Did he ever get his hair dyed? I want to know.
No.
not
Oh, so
yet.
Not yet.
Wow.
Not yet. You know. And the good thing about it is I was.
England wasn't ready. Maybe Eddie wasn't ready, but now he's.
You know
gonna
why?
get
Because I
ready.
didn't want to put poison in my hair, non-vegan products in my hair along the way, and but I was never afraid to be different or to challenge the norms ever. But like I was saying, it was a place you go by, just to pet the cat or when they were busy, and the only time you wouldn't go by there is Halloween because you didn't want to get in that line.
Oh my God.
The only time I ever went there for Halloween, we wanted to get some makeup or something for costumes, and we went there early because we knew in advance what to do. But it was our place, it was one of the places that people came, and there's a lot of famous rock and rollers in the neighborhood. You've helped a lot of them with like Cyndi Lauper with her first album. You guys worked with her hair that way.
But tell everybody
All right.
about your slogan. I loved it.
Oh, we have a few slogans. One of them is tested on celebrities, not animals.
Right.
Which you have done.
And live fast and dye your hair.
Yeah, very good.
And this is amazing.
Oh, I'm glad
This
And
is
you guys
delicious.
take half of this burger each.
Well, we could split it. We could, yeah, let's cut it in half.
We probably need a couple of
We
more
saved
we
earlier
plates.
wanted
today,
to
so we have
taste
more food.
everything, so.
Yes. So anyway, so
I can use
what
one
made you
plate,
do
no
the?
problem.
How'd you make the vegan choice for the hair coloring? Which
It's the way we wanted it. It's what we believe, and so we had been importing hair color from the UK. We used to go over there with like suitcases full of stuff that we
Oh, you're
found over
literally
here.
bringing it in?
Yeah, we were like international smugglers. We'd bring all this stuff that we found
That's great.
here, like vintage sunglasses and whatever they couldn't get over there. And we'd bring suitcases full over there.
Pre-internet stuff, right?
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, way
Pre-
before
pre-shipping
internet.
too.
And then we'd find cool stuff like beetle boots and stuff we didn't have over here. And one of the things was hair color.
Right.
So we'd fill our suitcases with hair color, every color, and bring it back. So we were import-export.
And imagine those girls
Under the-
don't have business experience, right? Opening a store, they're singing. Who would think that they have like a business sense? But you did, right?
We did. We got that, I think, from our father, because he was always in business, but we didn't grow up with him. He left when we were kids, but it was just in our blood that, you know, buying and selling and wheeling and dealing, but also like, in addition to that, he was always putting on shows and producing shows and
Really?
being
I
in
didn't
shows.
Yeah, which is really, we didn't know it.
Oh,
We didn't
wow.
know it
didn't
because
know him until
he left when
20
we were
years ago.
5 and 7, and then we got back together with him about, what was it?
20-something years ago.
And you felt like you are you have a lot of similar trends.
Oh yeah.
because
And we-
DNA doesn't lie.
It
Wow,
doesn't.
that's
we
incredible,
thought, you know,
huh?
he was the devil. We thought we could never be anything like him because, like, we thought mother good, father bad because
Right,
he
right.
abandoned us. But then when we met him, we realized, you know, we're so much like him.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't help that. So back to the bands and stuff. I know that I think Steve Bray was the drummer of the Sick Fucks back in the day. Am I right? I'm trying to remember the sort of history because I had met so many people during that time and we were doing so much drugs. And we had met Madonna because I think she was opening for you guys at one
She
point.
opened at Max's, and
Right.
they didn't like her. Peter Crowley wrote about it,
Mm.
and he had his notes on, I don't know, Facebook or something. And he said that the crowd didn't like Madonna. She didn't go over well, but they loved the Sick Fucks.
Mm.
Now look.
Shows what that crowd knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the time, because we would go see Madonna all the time because she actually used Adam Roth's apartment to record her demos over on
Really?
St. Mark's
Really?
Place. Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, I mean, I've seen her perform since, and she's an amazing performer. And you know, but for us, it was the more punk bands we liked. Plus, you know, we liked television, and we liked, then the stuff like the Gang of Four that was coming out. But we were in CBGB's every night. We were there every night. We knew BG at the door, and we were broke, so he's like, "Come on in." I'm sorry if I get you arrested for that for all these years later. But the daytime we were in the neighborhood sleeping off the night before, and then at night we were at CBGB's and saw this incredible music scene. How did the Sick Fucks come about? We recently you guys did a anniversary show, and I got to open for you guys, which was so exciting to be back with you guys.
Oh,
How did that come about? How did the band come together?
Russell came to the store, and I think maybe we hadn't even opened the store yet. I'm really not sure, or it was at the very, very dawn of Manic Panic. And he was outside, and he was telling us that he was forming a band called the Sick Fucks, and they were going to play at CBGB. And I said, "Great, when do we rehearse?" We just...
Tish invited us.
I insinuated us into the band, and we've been in ever since. And
Yeah, and what a great band! Incredible musicians. Andy, your Andy,
My
is,
Andy.
is
My
in
husband.
there. Yes,
the original band was the original drummer was Greg, but we could never find him. He'd kind of disappear.
yeah.
So, but he was the original drummer. Then there was
Okay.
Norman and Joey,
From
Yes.
St. Louis.
Shabler.
That's right.
but we just saw Norman recently.
Wow.
Yeah, they're from St. Louis.
Yeah,
And
Rick,
it
our
sucks from A
director.
to Z.
and, yeah.
Not really, that's our song though. But
Yeah.
and who else was in the band? And Russell.
Yeah.
Russell
Was that it?
Our fearless
Oh, and
leader.
Jim Maresca. That was the original band.
And who wrote the music, the songs? Did everybody have a
I
say
think
in
it was
that?
mostly Russell and
uh,
Norman and
Joey and Norman.
I think in the beginning.
Yeah. They would just get together and they wrote a bunch of songs and
High energy, high powered, incredible rock and roll.
we had one rehearsal and then we did this gig at CBGB and
After
packed
one
the-
rehearsal?
Yeah, one rehearsal.
That's great.
And we packed the place because everyone wanted to see this band called the Sick Fucks.
Right.
And so, yeah.
You're right.
It's
When
not
you
so
told me
hard.
about the name, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, he's in, he's in.
There was no internet, so it was people would read the Village Voice. There'd be an
Right.
ad for CBGB in the Village Voice, and we were playing on a Wednesday night, which was always really
Remember
dead.
Village Voice that big? My goodness,
Yeah.
it's extinct now,
Yeah. So you were doing it on a Wednesday night,
Yeah, it
which
was
was
like
a dead
audition night or
Right,
something.
yeah. We still would go
We packed the
because
place.
we needed a
and-
bad place to pee, and we needed a because that place always smelled like urine downstairs. But anyway, you packed the place because
Yeah.
because everyone knew you. We all came to see everybody. We're all friends, so
It was
the party
everybody-
got moved to CBGB's on. What are you doing Wednesday? We're gonna go see the Sick Bucks, and yeah, there's a
Yeah,
bunch of
and
Sick Bucks
everybody,
downstairs.
we were all each other's audience.
Yeah.
It was such
Yeah.
a small scene at the time.
And everyone looked out for each other. One of my most memorable moments, I got to host a show at Max's for Allison East, our friend Allison East. And, to raise money for her, because back in those days, there's no Kickstarter. And how do you do it? Well, let's throw a party and celebrate the life of our friends. And that's how that worked out. Now, changing the subject a little bit, Manic Panic was incredible. It was fun for us. It's your baby. But all of a sudden, the world's changing, and now there's the internet. The rents have skyrocketed. As we talked about, all of the places are changing. Trash and Vaudeville moved to 7th. The Sock Man moved over to down St. Mark's Place. The comic book store is now online. You guys are mostly doing a lot of online business now. How have you evolved?
Well, we also sell to other brick and mortar stores.
But they're getting fewer and fewer just in general, because if you're not a chain, you're not a Starbucks or whatever, it's very hard to do
Yeah,
business especially in New York City.
it's
What-
true. Go
What
ahead.
impressed me about your business that you have a community, right? Those diehards.
Yeah.
It's incredible activists, right? And I read that you donating more than 10% for
20.
charity. 20, you see?
20%, yeah.
For charity.
And
So
what
tell us
charity,
a
so
little
we
bit.
can tell people about
so many
them.
different ones. Breast Cancer Research Foundation, Cancerland, another
It's
breast
close
cancer.
to your heart, of course.
And my
yeah.
breast, yes.
Yeah.
And
A lot of animal charities.
yeah, Pets Alive up in Middletown.
Unbelievable, guys.
Yeah, lots of different.
So tell us about this community, diehards.
Well, there are people that are diehards. They just love using our color, and they wouldn't think about using anything else, and they send us their picture.
So now I can see them on a store on a street and say that
Yeah,
they're
you're the diehards.
Well,
But-
there's other brands now that have imitated ours, and so unfortunately, it's not always our
Yeah,
hair
we
color
wish it-
Yeah.
anymore.
But every time I see the good color, that's you.
That's
Yes, of course. But that's the other part of it is that, it's a business, and there's a corporate feel to a business that's important because it's business, and you got that from Diego. I found out his name is Diego now. And you learn that, so there's not a bad dichotomy to have a little bit of corporate sense and at the same time, be necessary to the public, your public.
Well, it's essential, I guess, to get some work done, because otherwise we couldn't donate to all these charities and do. When we were little kids, we said, we're going to grow up and save the world. Well,
Wow.
that didn't exactly happen, and especially
working on
animals.
it.
But we're working on it and trying hard.
Well, how else can you save the world? You can't save the whole world, so you do a little bit of time. You put the love out, even in small doses. Like, look at the information, the phone calls you've gotten, the emails you've gotten. I remember there was a woman who was suicidal, and you made her happy. So tell me some of the stories. Tell us some of the stories of some of the people that have come through and, changed their lives.
It changes people's lives because color is therapy, and it really helps a lot of people. There was this woman in her 80s who lived in Canada. Her name was Rose, and she felt invisible. She dyed her hair purple. She, everybody called her Purple Rose. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to take a picture with her. They wanted to talk to her and find out who she was and why she had purple hair. And she wrote a poem about Manic Panic, and it basically, it really changed her life. And when she passed away, they had, the service at a synagogue, and everybody put purple in their hair.
Ah, that's fantastic.
So, I mean, we get stories like that that make us cry all the time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What's next for you guys? What's the next step? There's always new innovation.
We wrote a book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Do you
Is
have
it under
with
the
you?
table?
What's it called while you're
It's
looking
called
for it?
Manic Panic Living in Color.
That's fantastic.
We
Got,
should have it in the store.
Yes.
Yes.
It's coming out October 15th.
The day before my birthday for
Oh,
everyone.
yay.
So
Well,
it's not even in
now
a
you
store.
know what
Your
you're
birthday.
getting.
Have it?
Is around there.
Now
When's
you know
your-
what you're getting for your birthday.
Wow, we're going to have it in the store, and they don't even have it in.
No, not yet.
Oh, wow.
October 15th.
And
That's
it's
good.
published by Black Dog, a division of Hachette. And it's a beautiful book. It's printed with,
Gorgeous, just the cover.
isn't it vegan ink or something?
Yeah,
or some
yeah,
kind of,
really.
Let's see what it
it's
is.
some kind
Yeah.
of politically correct ink.
Politically
And,
correct. I don't think you guys are ready to be politically correct. You're rebellions in heart. Wow, it's it's a lot of history.
Yeah, right,
Whoa,
that's right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's
So
fantastic.
I
So
do
this
think
is next. This
it is.
Yeah.
It's next. Plus we have shampoo and conditioner coming
We're
out.
putting out new products to go along with the hair color.
And it's vegan-based products.
Yes.
Okay, well I'm sold on that one, because again I look for vegan products.
And please, let's get him colored.
Yeah.
What,
Come
what
on,
do you
Eddie.
think color would be good for him?
Blue.
Blue.
It's got to
I'm
be
Eddie
Mr.
Blue. Eddie Blue.
Whoa.
Eddie Blue. That's it.
And I'm putting this food in my body, but also the skin and the hair and everything else is all part of the system.
So
Do
the
that.
next time we're gonna have Eddie Blue presenting
Right.
a book.
You heard of Jackie Blue by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils? Well,
I have
Tish
a
and
question
Snooky
for you
song.
guys. And I'm really curious. I have a sister too. Okay, we have 10 years difference, but you working in a business, obviously, tension, conflict with other people. How did you preserve your friendship and love and sisterhood? It's amazing. So many horrible stories. People can't divide money. People can't get this business straight. How did you do this?
I think we were always close because we were together when we were very young. We moved a lot, so we would gain and lose friends, but we always had each other, so we were used to each other, I guess.
I have no choice.
And we know each other so well and trust each other. And I can't imagine it any other way. And I can't believe it when people don't get along with their siblings.
Yeah,
And we
I'm
have
very.
four more.
Yeah,
You have-
We have four more that we didn't know about. So
Wow. How
half,
did that-
half
yeah.
siblings, and
And my family the
That's
same
great, too.
way. Family's everything. It's the basis of everything, and to be able to solve that kind of conundrum that happens among families is one of the biggest tricks to do in the world. So we're so happy that you came. This is for me a real soulful, place, a clubhouse for healthy eaters and people from all different walks of life come in here. And your place, 20 years before this place, was the same thing for me and all my friends, and we're friends because of it. And I love you guys, and I'm so happy.
And
that
now
you
we
were
have a
able to
book
come.
about it too.
We have a book about it. And
Manic
because
Panic, guys.
Manic Panic is actually used as a verb sometimes. Your hair
It's
has been
true.
manic panicked,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. And so please, is there a website they can go to?
manicpanic.com.
That works out. That's so
Whoa.
nice. It's beautiful. We want to thank our incredible crew and staff, as always, for being here and being pros and good people. We want to thank the neighborhood. We want to thank Tish and Snooky. I love you guys so much.
Guys,
And,
incredible. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for this
for
incredible
coming.
food.
And we'll eat some more off camera. We have other great things.
Now I have real stuff coming out.
All right, so thank you so
incredible.
much. If you have any
Thank you, guys.
questions,
Thank you.
suggestions, write in. OG Talk
Let us
NYC.
know who you want to invite us as guests. So.
Yeah, and don't say yourself, because we don't want you. All right, we'll see you later.
You.
Yeah, just you. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.